It has been the wet, lucid dreams of the Republican Party to repeal Obamacare. I'm not even going to fall into their trap of saying repeal and replace. They just want to repeal it. They want to repeal it because they have a chip on their shoulder that Obama actually got a victory while he was in the White House. They don't have a problem with the legislation per se because most of it is based on a Republican paradigm. Most of it is built off of Romney Care, which was built off of the think tank, the Heritage Foundation. Most of Obamacare is a giveaway to insurance companies. So simply on the merits of it, it's a perfectly Republican paradigm policy, right? It's perfectly Republican. They just don't want President Obama to have a victory. And because they don't want him to have a legacy, he already had the victory. They don't want him to have this particular legacy. They have been practicing repealing Obamacare for the last 6 years since he originally passed it. I think 62 votes in all that they've had to repeal Obamacare. And now they're going to have their chance to repeal it completely. The problem is they don't have a way to replace it. And without having something to replace it with, if they repeal it, it's going to blow up in their face so badly that there's a chance that they would lose all of their majorities in 2018. So here's been their strategy. Their strategy, and I'll get you up to date. Their strategy has been, let's repeal it on day one and put a delay in the repeal until 2019. So that gives us time to find a replacement and also gets us past the midterm elections. But because their base is so rabid and so irrational, they can't even do something which is strategically sound as that, because that's strategically sound. We're going to try to blow a hole in that strategy. But strategically, it makes perfect sense. You get the instantaneous victory by repealing it on day one. You get to announce to the world that we repealed Obamacare, and you don't have to face the ramifications of the 20 million people that you're putting off of Obamacare until after the midterm elections. It's a brilliant strategy. But their people are so stuck on hate-filled stupidity that that's not enough. So the Freedom Caucus has entered into the equation, and they're saying that they want a full repeal right away. They don't want to wait until 2019 for the repeal. They want a full repeal of Obamacare, and they want to repeal and replace it right away. Here's the problem. They don't have anything to replace it with. They've never had anything to replace it with, because it is a perfectly Republican piece of legislation. Like, what are they going to, there's nothing more that they can do to make this more palatable to the Republicans except for it to have come from a Republican. So now they're stuck in a rock and a hard place between a caucus that is very loud. I don't know how powerful they still are. They're very loud, quasi-powerful, powerful enough to make this a complicated situation where they're not going to be able to simply just repeal it and delay the repeal. They're going to have a conversation about whether or not they're going to repeal and replace it right away. My suggestion, well, before I get to my suggestion, ultimately, I think what's going to happen is that they will repeal it at least in the first month of this session of Congress is coming up, and Trump is going to sign it. I think they're going to go with the delayed repeal until 2019 so that they can save their skin, save their butts in the 2018 election. Clearly, that's what they're going to go with. And so they're going to want to get this political win in 2016 and don't have to pay the political costs until 2019. I think what we should do, because, because we got nothing else to do. We got nothing better to do. I'll be honest with you. We're not in a position. We're not in a position to actually stop them unless they keep the filibuster, right? We just discussed that. If they keep the filibuster, then maybe we have a way of stopping them. But short of having the filibuster, the only thing we could do is extract as high of a political cost as we possibly can. And I think if they repeal this on day one and put a delay until 2019, then every single day we should have a countdown ticker that we make major news every single day to point out that they only have X amount of days left to replace Obamacare before 20 million people fall off the rolls, no longer have insurance, before the entire. Now, here's a problem. There is another embedded problem. Like, even the promise of repealing Obamacare would really shake, even if they delay it to 2019, it would shake the foundation of the markets that they built. It would shake the foundation of the insurance companies that are benefiting from it. People are going to start making adjustments. It's not like the insurance companies are going to wait till, oh, we have all the way to 2019 before we have to worry about this. No, they're going to start calculating that right away, which means even the threat of repeal or the actual repeal with a delay will still bring chaos to the system. So all we could do is just point out the chaos and try to extract as high of a political cost as we possibly can, knowing full well that they don't have a replacement. If they did have a replacement, they would have ran on that replacement. They had 8 years to figure out a replacement. And they realized Obamacare is a great Republican, GOP conservative policy. They're just mad that it came from a Democrat, whereas most of us would have preferred a single payer system.